Hey everybody, I'm Ricky.
And I'm Nova.
And this is what we call marriaging.
Marriaging.
Yep.
Hey, if you make it to the very end of this episode tonight, it is more than 95% sure that you're going to have more money in your bank.
And you can win a new car.
No, you're not getting a new car.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Well, yep.
Hey, you can't make those promises. We barely have our own car.
We could give away the CRV.
That's actually
You and me, we got this. Gonna take some practice. Superpower oneness. We are marriaging. Ow. Ow.
One to twin powers activate.
We are marriaging.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're back and we're talking about money, 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 money as it pertains to what you're leaving behind. And so we're talking about money mindset tonight.
That's why we look so fancy. Well, I was just,
that's why it's the blazer.
Yeah,
I was like, if we're talking about money, I'm going profesh. And so I threw him a black blazer.
I comb my hair.
It looks good.
She said that with such hesitation.
I mean, you're not as fancy as me, but you wearing black pants.
Last week and then this week we've been talking about what you're leaving behind.
Yeah, kind of the legacy that you're going to leave to your children as your marriage, as family values. And we talked about, things spiritually last week. And I think it is really important for us to talk about. I mean, we just need to have this conversation and for people to join in and join us. And like, what do we believe about money, and what is every parent wants to leave, like, and even if you don't have kids, like, you want to be able to leave some kind of a legacy. Maybe there's, some charity that you want to give money to and whatnot, but is it a money mindset? Like, if you have children, you want to leave a mindset for your children, whoever you're influencing, and leaving money to, like, we have to teach those mindsets. So we have one grown-up, Elisha.
Yep.
And then one little 7-year-old who's going to be 8 this fall. And we've been teaching Shiloh what we taught Elisha about finances. And we kind of have broken it down into percentages. Yeah.
And, our son, Elisha, the cool thing is he's played baseball his whole life. We told him, remember, you don't have to get a job. Baseball's your job as long as we're headed towards college and you're going to like work towards getting money for college. And he did. He got this awesome scholarship for college where he's at now playing baseball. But this summer he said to us, remember, he goes, I just want some money in my bank. And we're like, okay. And then so he started driving for Postmates. Yeah. And, now he's like glued to his phone at the end of the night because all his tips come in later.
Sweet.
So he's like, I got another $15. So as a 19-year-old, he's finally understanding the value of money and how fast money comes and goes.
So fast.
Yeah.
And if we don't manage it, properly, it can be problematic.
More money, more problems.
More money, more potential problems if you don't know how to manage your money. But that didn't fit into the song, so
more money, more problems if you potentially don't manage your money. That's it doesn't really hit.
I mean,
when
it
the beat
sounds
hits.
good when you do it. But probably that artist in particular wouldn't get away with that.
So the principles, though, that you were just talking about, we're teaching Shiloh's those principles, and she has no concept of money. $1, $20 bill, same thing to her.
Yeah, it kind of is. But we're learning about money, and I'm trying to be a great homeschool teacher. But yay! But can we give like a serious shout out to Jimmy Geiskoff, though, who really, when we had seriously zero money, and anybody who we've taken through premarital counseling, we've shared these concepts with them, and they know you guys made $623 a month or something crazy like that. Yeah. But Jimmy taught us the principle. This is what you're bringing in. Your gross, like for us, it was the 10% tithe. So we tithe 10%. We saved 20%. And honestly, that was a challenge sometimes, and we didn't always successfully do it. But the principle is there, and then you live off of 70. Right.
So Jimmy and Susie Geiskoff, they're our spiritual father and mother, if you will, and they walked through the beginning stages of our marriage when we were first married. They walked through the beginning stages of really key things that we needed to know, and that's kind of also some of the inspiration behind this show is people like the Geiskoffs that invested in us, and we give our time to this show. So hopefully you feel invested into. We may never meet you, those of you that are on the other side of the camera, but we want to invest in your marriage. And what Nova just said was Jimmy, he taught us the principle of 10, 20, 70. So you
70, 80, 90, 100. That's 100. It's just, yeah, no, it's in there. And you know, I used, you know, back in the day, I used to write everything down, and, you know, everything now has become a little more automated. So money can get lost if you don't if you don't know your budget and know what you're spending. And one of the apps that I like to use, can I share that already, is Dave Ramsey's $1, I think every dollar app. So that helps like budget that out. You can go, okay, this is what I have. And you know, some of you may have debt, but it shows you how to use that 70% to get rid of debt and whatnot.
Wait, is it a free app or you pay for it?
It's a free app.
Okay, so Dave Ramsey's the money manager, and he's amazing.
Oh, my apologies. I think now he does charge it's not that much though.
Okay,
build that into your budget. Yeah,
Dave Ramsey is a guy who helps people get out of debt and save and make, you know, helps. It's like wealth management or whatever.
Yeah, it's management, money management, wealth management.
And this app, I guess, is you have to pay a little bit. So, but look it up. I mean, honestly, we don't have any ties with Dave Ramsey. We just know what worked for us, and this is a potential tool for you.
And you can automate everything so it goes through your bank and through your bank and credit cards to the app, and it really helps you visually see, like, oh my goodness, I have $17 left in groceries. Yeah. So what's in the pantry? Like, you know, if you're in that position, I think that we've all been there. Yeah. So, but here's the thing: I think that, you know, in regard to like legacy and what we want to leave, I think there's two areas. Like, obviously we want to leave our children something, or whomever we're blessing, you know, maybe at the end of our life or whatnot. But then there's also like a mindset. So there is like a financial thing, but there's a mindset. And I was chatting with, you know, another friend of mine talking about, you know, people work, and then they're like, because I want to give it all to my kids, but if you never teach them how to manage money, then giving them all that, they won't know what to do with it. So you have to teach a mindset about money, and that money is just money, but managed poorly, you can kind of get yourself into trouble. I
mean, I was just thinking when you said money mindsets, the things that we learned from Jimmy, but also just practical things that we've learned through the years is, you know, the money, that dollar in your bank, when you look at your bank statement, that's not how much money you have to spend. That's how much money is in your bank, right? So if you have a mortgage, if you have electricity, if you have, you know, automated expenses, the dollar number you see in there, maybe those expenses haven't been taken out yet, maybe they have. And if you don't know,
like how something comes around every 6 months, and you're like, oh shoot, I don't have money. But if you save, you know, monthly, then that money isn't money for you to spend that's in your bank. It's just money that you're collecting, so that when that bill comes, you can. And this sounds a little bit elementary, so, you know, sorry if you're kind of beyond this, but this is also for people who, you know, are just starting their journey and have maybe never really thought about it or been very disciplined. And honestly, 100%, it takes some discipline.
Yeah. We try to teach all the couples that we work with that money can be very divisive.
The big ones for like why people can't get along.
The top 5 reasons why people divorce.
Top 3, right?
It's the top 3. So sex, money, and family, religion, and another one. We don't even know that one.
I don't know.
But the reason why money's in the top 3 is people get funny with money. Like they, you know, that's...
Did you try to rhyme?
I tried to. It's actually my friend Micah. He's really good with that. And he goes, money makes people funny. And that's what he does. So it's way cooler when he says it. But essentially, we've counseled couples, not just newlyweds, but couples that have been married for years. And she has a bank account and he has a bank account. Remember that?
Yep.
So it's my money and your money. And that's very problematic in marriage. If you start saying, this is mine and this is yours... then the two are not becoming one.
There's so many people who would disagree with us.
I know. So, hey, let us know why you disagree. If you disagree with that statement, and prove to us that it's helpful for you to have separate bank accounts with separate funds. Like, I'd like to know. We would like someone to prove to us that that's actually a really valid way to improve your marriage, to create closeness, unity, to be in one mindset by having separate bank accounts. People also take separate vacations. So we want to tell you, if you have separate bank accounts right now, we want to help you work towards making it one. And it will eventually help your
That
marriage.
is so scary for some people because their money mindset has always been make sure you take, like from even parents, like take care of yourself first. Make sure you know, something happens. It's like there's always like this backdoor route, and we say, you know, we're in this, right? We always talk about how marriage is a covenant, so we're in this till death do us part, and this is us. This is us together, and so anything I bring in, you bring in, we put it in one pot, and then we disperse it as like, you know, the money that is budgeted.
Okay, so what if, you know, I'm making more money than you make? Isn't more of that mine?
I'm lucky. No,
Why?
because we're one.
Okay.
And everything that we have together, that you make, I make, it's all us and ours together.
So help me. If I'm the guy who says, well, I make the money, I should be able to spend it. You know, is that true? Do I need to ask permission to spend money? Should we be asking each other permission to spend money?
I think, I mean, haven't we, I mean, I think all the things in our life, like if there's something over a certain dollar amount, here's what the thing. Okay. Over a certain amount, a dollar amount, I think you need to discuss that. But there's also, in the budget, there's spending for like miscellaneous, and that is like a miscellaneous you or miscellaneous me, or like my personal or your personal, and you can put that into the budget and go, hey, we each have whatever it is, $10, $100, $1,000, I don't know, whatever your budget is. But so there's money there's play money,
but you have to plan for it.
but you have to plan.
If there's one principle that you pick up from all this, I mean, we just gave you a whole bunch, but if there's one that you walk away with, it's that if you don't plan, if you're not strategic with money, then you're in trouble.
Like thinking about legacy and what we're leaving behind, this mindset of like money doesn't grow on trees. You have to plan. We plan for generosity. So people who are like, no, I don't want to spend it. It's like, well, no, you should spend some things because you have to learn how it feels to spend money too. Because you're not just like, some people are like, well, you just got to save it away and then we have a lot and then we just spend a lot. It's like, no, that's not healthy. And as your salary maybe increases over the years, you just disperse your money. Your income increases and the percentages, you know, stay the same, but the amount increases in all these categories. So you kind of decide, you know, what are the things that we spend money on, and you do that together. It's like, I got to get my hair done. I mean, like, I need it done so soon right now. And so that's part of our budget. I'm like, I can't let the camera go over here because my hair doesn't look good.
So 10% of the money collectively that we earn, the gross, we take 10% and we give that money to the church, right? We call that tithe. It's just a church word, a Bible word, but it's your first fruit, I guess, or your first portion, and that's first portion.
Yeah.
So, and then we take 20% of that same number and we set it in our savings.
403Bs or 401k, or however you want to.
1385s, whatever you put it in. 21, you know. But
You sound like such a money management expert.
I know, right? Yeah. Then the 70% has to cover everything else. So we take the 70% then, and we split it into categories. We used to use envelopes.
And this is actually a fun way. If you are kind of like a little bit some people are afraid. Yeah. We encourage you to take that 70%, pull it out of your bank.
Yep.
I mean, especially if you're a young couple and you're just starting out, use the envelope system. So you keep the 20%, put that in a savings. You tithe your 10%. The 70, figure out what your budget, how you're going to live off this 70, and then the discretionary stuff you take out. Let's say you have $700 and then your SDG&E is, we'll just say like 50. You keep that in the bank, but you know that money will go to your automatic payment. So then you go, oh, I have $650 left. And you break it down to like maybe entertainment, your food, maybe even your gas money,
clothing, clothes money,
stuff like that. So you break it into envelopes, and so you can actually physically see what you're spending. And that is really helpful to learn money, to learn like, well, I can't buy those $90 pair of jeans because I have $16 in clothes. Awesome. So it's going to take me 7 months to save for that. So as opposed to just putting it on credit, you know? Yeah,
we should address that briefly. This is something that's so important. Credit cards are not money. They're actually the purpose of credit cards, so you don't have to carry cash. And in particular, if there's large sums, like some of you spend, you know, we spend like $60 to fill up our tank. Some of you pay $100 to fill up your tank. Well, you're not going to walk around with $300-400 in your pocket just for spending. So you use the credit card and you spend $100 on gas. But the only way we spend $100 on our credit card for gas is if we have $100 in the bank to pay for gas, right? In the budget. And then when our credit card
is used as
cash.
Used as cash. Like how we did it was it's United Mileage Visa. So then we were like, oh, this will work for us because there's a very low fee on it, and then we can have air miles for if we want to travel or fly. And then also we've used it, we've collected points to where there were years when it was tougher to buy Christmas presents for our kids, and we were able to use those points to purchase Christmas presents. So it's like you can make your money also work for you.
That's right.
Some people use like a credit card for like hotels or Marriott stays or whatever, but just however you want to make your money work for you. And it's a way to go, I'm using this as cash, but there's some benefits here for our family. So you just have to figure out what that is for your family.
But we want to just help you understand what's happening when you buy, let's say you buy a $5, you go to Starbucks, you buy a coffee, it costs you $5, and you slide your credit card. And then at the end of the month, you don't pay that credit card completely. You pay the minimum, and then you're paying upwards to 20% interest on the cash, right?
It can be like 37%. It can be
crazy,
ridiculous
right?
amounts. And that cup of coffee all of a sudden is actually you're spending hundreds of dollars on that cup of coffee because it increases every time you don't pay and you just pay the minimum, you pay the percentage on that cup of coffee, and then the next time around you actually pay the percentage again to whatever you didn't pay the original time. So it gets so messy. And one thing I do want to say is, like, if you're in that position, you've done that, you can turn this ship around. Like,
you can get out of it.
Don't feel terrible about it. This actually does happen to a lot of people. And honestly, because we got really, really a lot of wise advice from Jimmy at the beginning, it saved us from ever getting into credit card debt.
That's right.
If you can teach your kids that money mindset, they're winning. Let me tell you, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've counseled couples and married couples that have, thousands of dollars in debt as they become husband and wife. And we've also counseled couples and married couples who have zero debt. Their college is paid for. And some of that is just their parents were really smart with their money. And, but they didn't rack up a couple $1,000, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 on credit card that now their new spouse is inheriting, right? And it's such a difference. I mean, that's why it's the top 3 of the top 5 marriage killers, right?
Yeah.
So
because you'll go into marriage going, well, that's your debt. It's like,
exactly.
Well, actually, it's ours. And let's figure out.
It's divisive.
Yeah, it can be really, really divisive. So
we don't want to just tell you a bunch of information, and we actually want to help you, and so we're going to give you a baby step, okay? And that's an action step that you can take on the information that you just heard, and we call that action step homework.
Homework time. So, homework time?
Homework time.
So, I happen to think this is about the cutest thing ever. And it's cute just because Shiloh's cute, and teaching her this. Seriously, today, she went up to my desk and she pulled these out. And these are her envelopes. This is her spend. This is her save. And this is her Jesus money.
Or tithe. We talked about tithe, 10%.
But she calls it her Jesus money, which is really cute. And honestly, today, I keep it in my desk because she knows it's like, oh, this isn't just to throw around in my room. So we actually keep it in my desk where I keep all of the financials. So she's part of the financials. But she knows this is hers. So she went today. She was like, Mama, I want to count my money, and I want to count how much I'm giving to Jesus, because I tipped her today $1 for something, and she's like, what am I going to do with that money? So it caused her to think, I have an extra $1. Where do I want to put that? Do I want to, how am I going to divvy that up? So she is learning, she decided, by the way, that she wanted to just save it. She wasn't going to do, the whole deal. She would take some of her change and give a little extra, the 10% to Jesus, but that she ended up saving that money. And we have told her that once she has a certain amount saved, then we can match that, and then that all goes in the bank. So
and saved for, for something specific, like if she wanted a new wetsuit that's $100. We're not going to go out and buy her a wetsuit. She's going to save her money until she has $100. And birthdays and Christmas, different story. We buy things. But she recycles cans, just so you know where the money's coming from. Some of our friends collect cans for her, and she takes those bags, she sorts it all at the recycling, she walks up to the thing, she turns it in. She does all the work. I make her sweat. She was sweating. She had her mask on, her gloves, and she's separating glass. But that's where this money is coming from. Or if somebody gives her money, we bring it to the envelopes, right?
Yeah, we bring it to the envelope. Today it happened. It was just really cool for her to go, what? It's the mindset of teaching your children, like, I have something here. It's not just like I'm just putting it in my purse. When we go to the store, I can buy some gum. She's like thinking about where it's going to go and making decisions. And if we can like really leave our kids with like the idea that, I need to make wise decisions and not be also, I think the other thing, I know this isn't really I know this is homework time, but just I kind of want to briefly, can I share something else? Is that there's a mindset and you can practice kind of re-teaching yourself this mindset of like just the poverty, like I don't have and I don't. It's like when you split it up like this, you can see, well, actually, this is what I do have. Look what I have and look what I can do with what I have. And so it's like retraining your mind.
Yeah. The homework, by the way, just before we get too far down the road, is create an envelope system for your youngest child, okay, or your youngest children, and give them a $20 to get them started and divvy it up, right? Or create an envelope system for yourself, right? Like, stop doing credit card, try to do the envelope system, right? But
especially if you feel like your spending's out of control, this is the way to, like, it seems so archaic.
Yeah.
But it really does kick your butt and makes you think about what you're spending.
Yeah.
Go, oh man, that's $4. You know what?
Yep.
I can see $4 right now in my envelope. So
that's our homework. We hope you do it, and then let us know in the chat if that worked for you. But what you were saying, babe, is actually a book I read. I think you may have read it too. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it talks about the poverty or the poor mindset versus the rich mindset. It has very little to do with what's in your bank. We hear a lot of people say, man, if I was rich, I'd be super generous. And the truth is, money doesn't change really who you are. So if you're generous, you're going to be generous with little, and you're going to be generous with a lot.
Money actually exposes who you really are.
That's right.
It really does. Yeah. So if you are like, I don't have a lot, but here's how I'm going to allot it and plan for generosity, even when you hardly have anything, I think God really honors that as opposed to holding on to everything, going, no, I need that for my bills. It's like
one of my favorite stories about our son. Now he's all grown up, but he was about Shiloh's age. Remember, he's a little bit younger, and he would save his change. Same kind of thing when we had him doing recycling, and he would save his money and spend it, and then when he'd spend his dollars, he'd put his change in this jar. And we happened to be walking one night. We were walking past Albertsons, remember that? And there was a gentleman who he looked homeless. He looked like he was in bad shape. He was laying on a mat, and he looked to be passed out. And our son, as he walked by, he said, "Let's go, Mommy and Daddy," and he was pulling us like crazy, and we really didn't know where he was taking us. Remember, like why he was so.
Yeah, he's like, "We gotta go," and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah.
And he pulled us to the house and was like, "Okay, you get water, and then I'm gonna get something in my bedroom."
Yeah, he sent me to get apples.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, and he sent you to get water, and he goes, "And I'll meet you here." So he runs in his bedroom.
So he comes out with, all of his change that he had been saving, and he's like, "I want to give this to that man," and. Honestly, in my head, I was like, wow, like that's really generous.
Well, at the time, we were in a 600 square foot home, and we had next to no money in the bank. I mean, we were saving. Yeah, just barely scraping by. I think we had one car.
Yeah, living principled, but things were tight because it's hard to live in San Diego.
It's hard.
And at one income at the time.
One income. And our point in sharing that story is our son was learning generosity when we didn't have very much money. Yeah. So if he ever graduates from college and comes into a lot of money, he's still going to be generous because he was generous when it was just a few pennies in a bank, $30 worth of change or whatever. And
honestly, I've seen he has become like a really generous person. He is incredibly generous with his friends. So yeah, it's fun to watch that happen. He understands the concept of like that money isn't everything either. And so I think that's another mindset.
So we hope these principles will help. You know, maybe, I don't know. I mean, also, hey, we know poverty. I mean, not like homeless poverty. We've never been homeless, but we've been really poor. I mean, where we had like literally no food. I mean, you know, she couldn't buy a bra because it's $40, and we had to save 10 months, you know, to get a bra.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, so we've known poor, and we've also known, you know, well off. We're doing fine now. We're blessed. I mean, we live in Del Mar, not because we're wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but God's blessed us to be able to live across the street from the beach. So we've been in both of those worlds, and hey, we want to pray for you. We really do. We want to pray for whatever you would like us to pray for, and also if we can get you help. We know a lot of people that can help you financially. We have some really good friends that's what they do. They help people manage money. And so if you just comment below, or you can direct message us on Instagram or on Facebook, and we will do whatever is in our means to help you, right?
Definitely we can give names and people to direct. I would say too, just, you know, if you're in that position where you're like, man, I've made a lot of financial mistakes, don't beat yourself up. Just decide that it's like a new day. Some people right now are going, I don't have a job right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. Now's the time to really learn how to use what you do have. There's a lot of people you can talk to about, you know, how to use whatever you've been saving, how to invest that differently and diversify all those things. So, you know, there's a lot to learn. Money is not our God. Like, money is not the most important thing, but we do know that God has asked us to steward what He has given us in a way that, you know, obviously leaves a legacy for our kids, and that, you know, we can be generous, and you know, that we can teach others about what we've learned about money.
God bless you guys.
God bless you.
Don't give up. You're fine. You're gonna get a job. God's got you for sure.
And keep loving each other.
Yep.
Keep marrying.
Slow motion. What was supposed to be a high five.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
That's COVID right there.
COVID kiss.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna like.
I can't do
pucker
both. I
and-
just feel like.
We are